Playoffs. It's the Electric Football Show. We'd like to thank you all for watching all
That's
season.
right. Happy 2017.
We've had a lot of fun. Happy New Year to everybody.
Steve Brown.
Stu Pace.
Howie.
And here we go. We're going to talk playoffs. So
Playoffs?
Raiders at the Texans. That was good.
Thank you. Well, the teams met in November with Oakland winning 27-20. But that was with Derek Carr. The Raiders lost McGloin to a shoulder injury, I think, and is not likely to be ready to go Saturday. So they'll be going with Connor Cook. Houston loses Savage after he replaced Osweiler. Osweiler comes back in. So there's no support from the team, at least in the stands for Osweiler because they benched him and he's only back because Savage goes down. We aren't seeing the same teams we saw in November. I think Houston's defense is primed for a win here. I just don't think Connor Cook in his first game, and it's a playoff game, and he's going to come in to a Houston Texans home and win. History says in the playoffs, in the wild card round, the home teams win, and that's what I'm taking.
Well, let me rant on this for 1 second.
I shall.
Am I wrong? Were the Raiders 12-4 and were the Texans 9-7? Like, I get it. The Raiders did not win their division. I get it. The Texans did. But look at the divisions. The Texans division is horse piss.
Right.
Excuse my language, but it's horse piss. Texans horse piss. Colts.
Ooh, get it?
No. And the Raiders, had a much harder road.
They had Denver, Kansas City.
Have a better record. And for that, they get to travel and have an away game.
Hey, but I'll point to these undefeated Dolphins in 72 traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a playoff game.
Oh, God, the Dolphins in 72. All right, please stop.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, injuries.
Yeah.
They always talk about, it's a marathon. Well, a lot of guys have gone off the side of the road this year.
They're only running 2K instead of 5.
Yeah. I could only do about a K if I was lucky.
You can only eat special.
Okay. Enough with the... Anyway. So McGloin probably out.
Probably.
Connor Cook, a guy that wasn't even the captain at Michigan State, if I remember right, is now going to lead you into the playoffs. The Raiders look dispirited. I agree with you. This game comes down to which defense wins the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I keep having trouble looking at the Raiders team and going, but who are they scared of? I mean, you're going to be scared of DeAndre Hopkins, but Osweiler showed an inability to get him the ball when he was the quarterback.
Right.
C.J. Fedorowicz scare anybody? Alfred Blue scare you?
Right, and Miller's been injured, so you're not scared of Miller having a 300-yard day because he's not going to be on the field long enough.
Yeah, this game...
Thank God it's the early game.
It's a shame that Carr's not in this because if Carr was in this, it's an easy pick.
Oh, absolutely.
Now it's become a difficult pick. I'm leaning toward the Raiders. I think their defense will be able to shut down what the Texans are trying to do. You're not looking at a massively experienced and successful quarterback going against a first-time starter. You're basically looking at a failed quarterback going against a guy that made surprises. So if I was the Raider defense, I'd be shouting at Cook, get in there and hold him.
Yeah. And I will tell you this: if the Raiders lose, this shows that Derek Carr was the MVP of the league because this whole team was carried on his shoulders. Oh, argue it.
I can argue it with the fact that Tom Brady has had a spectacular season. I can argue it that Aaron Rodgers. Right, but you can't hold that against people.
I'm not holding it against him. I'm saying...
Has Aaron Rodgers not just taken the Packers and once again...
He has, that's my
note.
Put
them on his freaking back.
He finally did it this year with their support.
I don't see how you can argue Prescott. I don't see how you can argue Carr. I get it, and I get he's very valuable to the Raiders. But if you say to me, is he more valuable than what Aaron Rodgers has done these last, 6-7 games in a row? The answer is no.
Okay.
Feel free.
Disagree.
Comments down the bottom.
Comment it down there.
We both agree we could be wrong. So we're going to split on this game. He's going Texans. I'm going Raiders.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Then we move on to the Lions at the Seahawks. And show me one damn complete game that the Lions have played and won that was impressive. One game from the first to the fourth quarter where you're like, damn, that was a good win by the Lions.
No, they were behind in almost every game.
Right. They don't have it. Stafford's got the hurt finger. Once again, injuries playing a big part because Earl Thomas, the heart of the Seahawks defense, evidently, the guy they rally around. They're not the same team without him. So how healthy is Stafford's finger? He looked good last night.
Well, they were diagramming how he never used that finger anyway to throw the ball, so it shouldn't hurt him.
Yeah, but I mean, control of the football, just that extra little spin. It's the difference between off the fingertips and into the hands.
Yeah, I don't use that leg when I run. So
yeah. But also, I mean, look at what Detroit just gave up to Green Bay. In Detroit, they're giving up chunks, 105 rushing yards on 17 carries
to a team that can't run.
To Ripkowski and Montgomery. So I look at the Seahawks are not the most effective running game either. And by the way, what's his name? Christian Michaels. Have you ever seen a guy? Have you ever seen a guy work so hard to get back to the line of scrimmage on every carry?
He's got 141 yards and a gain of 2.
He bounces off of guys. He twists. He spins. He looks like he's doing something, but he doesn't actually move forward. Anyway,
Christine.
I like what the Seahawks can do here. I think they can control the ball. I don't think this is going to be a big scoring game for either team. I think the crowd plays to the Seahawks' emotions and maybe gets them up where they are missing a key player or two. I think that Russell Wilson is not quite Aaron Rodgers when it comes to mobility and accuracy, but if you watched the game last night, you saw how Rodgers hurt them with his feet and with his ability to keep a play alive and then make a pass. They put the clock on him once. He was at like 8 seconds.
Yeah, no one gets 8 seconds in a game.
No, it's ridiculous. And Wilson will be able to get 5 or 6 seconds on some plays where other quarterbacks would get 4 or 3.
Right.
So I like the Seahawks in this one.
Yeah, both teams have been wildly inconsistent this year, and I don't have a read on either one. The Hawks are 7-point favorites here, and I think that's high. I mean, just because they're home and it's the playoffs, I think 7 points to this particular Seahawks team in 2016, I think that's a lot because they beat who? San Francisco by 2.
Oh yeah, you're not laying the points.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the 7 just because I think Stafford can keep you in the 7. But I don't think their defense is nearly as good as it's been. The Seahawks have lost 4 of their last 6, while the Lions lost the last 3 getting in there. And that's going to be the key to why I'm picking the Seahawks. The Lions lost 3 and are still in the playoffs. I am taking the Seahawks solely on that, and as much as I'm enjoying that little Zach Zenner guy, because the stats people came up and said he's the first player whose initials are ZZ to ever play in the NFL, and I'm like, I don't care. But I brought it up tonight because it was important.
ZZ Top? Is that where we're going? Should we grow the beard out?
Oh, we should.
It seems to be a little bit of a fumbler, though.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in that impression?
No, I just like him because who is he? He's nobody. Neither team has a running game, but Seattle has a better defense. I am taking the home team here. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, it's easy to root for these guys that come out of these small colleges and earn their way onto the teams. It's easy to root for guys that teams you don't even like. Quincy and Nunwa.
Yeah.
We don't like the Jets, but
right.
you have to give this guy credit. He went from the practice squad to being a key contributor to probably being a locker room leader next year. Victor Cruz, whose career may be coming to an end. We have not given Patterson native right next door.
Patterson, New Jersey.
We have not given Victor Cruz enough credit because the guy, he did it in the preseason. He came off of the unexpected, and he's had a hell of a career. Fought his way back from injuries. So there's a lot of guys it's really easy to root for, even if they're not on your team, based on that kind of stuff. Go into the game though. What do we got? We got Dolphins Steelers here.
Yeah. All right. So look. Jay Ajayi ran for over 200 yards last time they played Pittsburgh, and we won 30-15. But let's face it, Miami is a patchwork of guys this season. Adam Gase has created miracles out of a mess here. We're missing 6 guys on defense. We're missing, 3 of our 6 guys on offense. I just think their offense, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense will handle the Dolphins' defense handily. Miami can't stop the run. We can't cover a guy over in the middle, especially a tight end. And I think that's Ben Roethlisberger is smart enough to give the ball to Le'Veon Bell. I mean, you have Le'Veon Bell. We're going to stop him a second time? I really don't think so. Unless the Dolphins' defense makes, especially the D-line, makes an incredible turnaround for this game. My head says take the home team here again and take the Steelers for the victory. I would take Miami. The points are 10. I'll take Miami in the 10, but I'm taking the Steelers to win.
All right. Well, if we're doing the spreads,
I'm not. I like to look to see.
Do you know what the Raiders-Texans spread is?
It's 3.
Okay, so
2.5 or 3 on.
Raiders giving or getting?
Getting
3. I take the Raiders to win it straight up, so I'm taking the Raiders plus 3. Dolphins Steelers. I was wondering what you were going to make out of that first game. Roethlisberger had his worst game of the season, if I remember right.
And we heard him.
His QBR was like 4.
Yeah.
He had a touchdown and 2 picks and like 180 yards.
And then he went out.
Yeah. You can't expect that sort of thing again. I did this when you were talking about the run game because that really is the key. And the other key is Pittsburgh is relatively healthy. Pittsburgh had their injuries early and kind of got over them at the right time. And don't underestimate how important that is in the NFL in 2017.
Absolutely.
The impressive. I also looked through the season for impressive wins. The Dolphins' win against the Steelers was probably their most impressive.
Absolutely.
And if you look at what Pittsburgh has done, they have wins over Washington, KC, the Giants. But the really impressive win was 2 weeks ago against Baltimore. Hard fought. Tougher defense than what they're going to face in Miami.
Oh, absolutely.
And they grounded out and won it at the end.
Baltimore's the best team that's not in the playoffs.
And the Steelers are coming in, having rested people against the Browns team and still won. So It's hard to go against them at home. I'm taking the Steelers. And quite frankly, no offense to Moore, but it's Moore versus Roethlisberger.
Yeah, there's talk that Tannehill might practice this week, and it's a possibility.
I was wondering about that.
But he's going to be gimpy. The guy tore, or at least strained, his MCL and ACL. I'd rather go with Moore, the healthy guy who might be able to get out of a tough situation and run a little. Tannehill will be a sitting duck, and they'll just pin their ears back and go get him.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm rooting for Tannehill to sit.
As a long-term fan,
selfishly.
You want him healthy and not to further aggravate the injury in a playoff, potential playoff loss.
In a playoff that we're probably not going to win.
There you go. I understand that feeling. Believe me. I was Adrian Peterson's coming back. What? Oh, and by the way, damn it, Minnesota! Why'd you have to win last week?
Really? Why were you so impressive last week?
Yeah, holy crap! Let's wake up and ruin our draft spot again and again. Because the one thing you don't want to be in the NFL, and what Minnesota is trending to be now, is freaking mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
If you're horrible, you get good draft picks, you have a chance. If you're great, you have a chance. If you're mediocre, you stay mediocre for a long damn time unless you get lucky.
Yeah, we got that 12th guy that we got to pick that's probably a second rounder, but we got to take him.
Giants at Packers. And around here, everybody's excited about the Giants. Oh, they've gone through Green Bay before. Oh, they're road warriors. They're not the teams that they were. On the offensive and defensive line, they're not nearly as good. Now, the question is, will JPP come back, and at what level will he play, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it matters. As you saw earlier in my Aaron Rodgers for MVP speech, you got to remember, mid-season, we were going, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Evidently, it was a calf, because he is now moving around way better than he did.
Yeah.
His accuracy has come back. Geronimo... he's doing what Brady does. He's doing what great players do. They're taking the guy that was mediocre or practice squad or not, 5-star recruit and first-round draft pick, and they're making him into stars.
Yep.
So he can spread the ball now to Adams also, same sort of situation. Nelson, Allison. They have a running game in Montgomery, and they seem to have a fullback now that's got some functionality in this Ripkowski guy. And
was he a tight end, converted tight end or something?
I thought he was just a fullback for one of those Tom Rathman. He's turning into Tom Rathman. He's turning into Moose Johnston. He's turning into Jim Finn, Fair Lawn native.
Jim Finn,
ex-Giant. So there's a lot of chat in the New York area about how the Giants are ready to go on a run. Their secondary is good. They match up well against what the Packers do best, but I think the Packers do it better than the Giants can stop it. And I think Eli is solely dependent on Odell Beckham Jr. I don't think they have a running game. Perkins has picked them up a little bit.
I think they've improved their running game over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, but he ain't no Tiki Barber, Rodney Hampton, O.J. Anderson. He's Paul Perkins and tops out at 60 yards for the game. For the game. So all of that, plus being in Green Bay, plus the role the Packers are on, I don't see how you pick the Giants. Yes, Eli often has his best games in the playoffs, but, miracle catches aside, I don't think they stand a chance.
Well, I'm going to tell you how the Giants are going to win this
what's
game.
the spread, do you know?
I don't.
Oh.
But it's not much.
There you go.
I didn't.
Packers, no matter what the spread
I thought
is.
this would be a close game, so I didn't really look at the line for this game.
Fair enough.
Here's one I think the visitors can win. First of all, Green Bay has no defense to speak of, as evidenced in their last few games. They are solely reliant on Aaron Rodgers scoring one more touchdown than the other team.
They got Clinton Dick. Ha
The Giants' D has come around the second half of the season.
It's been much better.
Especially the last few weeks. I mean, they had impressive wins against the Redskins and the Cowboys. So to me, that is the strength of this. The problem is Aaron has found his groove, and I've been complaining about him never having the team never has his back. Mm-hmm. I think the team has his back now. They seem to have supported him, not just on the field, but I think they finally realized, this guy is okay. And even with his coldness and his inability, in my opinion, to really be a leader.
He ain't no Brett Favre. You
right.
ain't going to his house for a barbecue.
Right, but it seems the mood has changed there a bit, and I think that's the reason this team has gone further. But they're still not a threat to run the ball, and I think the Giants' defense can stop whatever puny little run game they do have.
But vice versa, the Giants' run game is pretty puny.
Yeah, but the Packers don't have a defense. I don't believe in the Packers' defense. I believe in the arm of Aaron Rodgers. I do not believe in the Packers' defense. And now it's the playoffs. Eli's done this before. I'm not saying just because he won in Green Bay before 6 years ago that he can do it again. I just think his team is better prepared to face the Packers as talent-wise than the Packers are to face the Giants. And that is why my upset of the week is your New Jersey Giants.
All right, so we split on the Raiders and Texans, with me going Raiders, Stu going Texans.
Right.
We split on the Giants, Packers, and we agree with the Seahawks and the Steelers.
What do the fans pick? How do you think this is going to play out? Let's comment down there.
Put them down there. And by the way, speaking of comments, Joni, I don't know why your comments aren't showing up on our videos. Maybe they are for other people.
I haven't seen them.
I know, but I see them in my little updates, so keep putting them there. We appreciate the support. Who else do we...
Andrew Warren and your Patriots. You know what? You're probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Screw you.
God damn it.
Half Moon Picks, we still owe you thanks.
We do. Thank you so much.
Even though we're picking against you guys yet again. We were right last week, unfortunately for you. And we're picking
against my guys.
Yeah, I picked against my guys most of the season.
Yeah.
But we appreciate all the support from everybody. Please comment. Please like or dislike as you feel fit. And that's Stu Pace.
That's Steve Brown. We'll see you next week on Electric Football. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.